Welcome to Gulfstream Park, January 17th, 2015, and it is Sunshine Millions Day and the Eclipse Awards later on tonight. Ron, we have spectacular weather here for such a huge day here at Gulfstream.
It's like a Chamber of Commerce day today. You couldn't ask for any better. And you know what? We have a $100,000 jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six today. We got an 11-race card, so it starts in race number 6. We also get those guarantees, you know, in the pick 5, $50,000, and in the late pick 4, $100,000 guarantee. So besides all this great racing, great weather, we have all these great guarantees. It should be a fantastic day of racing. Fast main track and a firm turf course.
So Ron, before we get into today's card, let's just take a quick look back to yesterday. And Rajiv Miraj, he came back. He won on Sky Blazer, trained by Barclay Tag.
What a way to come back, huh?
What a way to come back. And he was injured last fall, actually, and he was the regular rider for Main Sequence. We're talking about Eclipse Awards. Well, Main Sequence, one of the finalists for Horse of the Year and likely a champion turf horse. But Rajiv, just a stellar year in 2014, and injury just truncated that season. Let's put it that way. Let's have a look at what Rajiv had to say yesterday after his victory on Sky Blazer.
It feels great. I really feel like a lucky person to be able to come back and have the support of such good horse people like Barclay Tag and others that have given me the opportunity to ride this weekend. And to be able to win, you know, you don't know what to expect. And I was hoping for the best, and it couldn't have been any better than that.
And that was Rajiv Miraj, and came back yesterday with a victory. These guys are troopers.
With that theme,
yeah.
Luis Saez, trouble in the 5th race yesterday. Last night, everybody said, "Wait, gee, I wonder how long he's going to be out." You know, hurt his leg. He's riding today. That's how tough these guys are. So Luis Saez will be on his mount today. And congratulations, Rajiv. Good guy. And as you mentioned, rode Main Sequence. It's a tough game. This game with with these jockeys, but they are tough guys. So
they sure are. And Ron, we have a lot of ground to cover. We do have the Sunshine 5 stakes today in the Sunshine Millions, but we just have a fantastic card. So let's get right into it. We do kick off with the first race on the card is a 20,000 claiming event. It is a mile and a 16th on the turf course. We do have a jockey change. Number 6, Luis Contreras. My top selection, I went with number 1, Concert Stage, and this 8-year-old horse, Gustavo Delgado Barn. Second last time, he really likes, one thing's clear, he likes Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, he likes Gulfstream Park, and he certainly likes the distance. He's a 6-time winner at the distance. I went a little different way. I went with the number 5, Cheyenne Nation. Now in the Chad Brown barn, this 9-year-old son of Gulch makes his first start since, I thought, a really productive campaign last year in which he was had 8 races, 2 wins, a second and 2/3, includes 2 turf victories in his last 4 starts. Johnny Velasquez rides. I just thought number 5, Cheyenne Nation, is a logical choice, and they got the 1, Concert Stage for all the reasons you mentioned, and I close it out with the 2, Whisper on the Wind.
I also threw in number 8, Overton Square, and I showed speed last time, just got a little leg weary in the late stages, but I'm going to give him another shot, at least to hit the board. On to the second race on today's card. It is a maiden special weight, a mile and a 16th on the main track. We do have a scratch, number 10, and that is a viable option. Ron, I'm excited about this race. There's a horse that I really like in here, and that's a number 3, J.S. Bach, and he's a colt by Tail of the Cat, a 3-year-old colt going a mile for the first time, or past a mile for the first time. The pedigree would suggest yes. And Ron, let's take a look at that last start. He was second in his career debut behind a horse named R. Limo Joe. R. Limo Joe, there was a lot of talk around this horse before the fact from the Kirk Zadie barn. Very, very well meant. And the reason why I wanted to show this video is look at their action. You see R. Limo Joe, he's compact, he looks like a scrappy type of colt, and he moves with pistons, like a sprinter. But look at the runner-up, J.S. Bach. To me, he looks, he moves, he's bred like a horse that wants to go further.
Yeah, I in total agreement with you. We talked about this right after the race when the horse ran, back then, and Todd Pletcher, of course, is the trainer. So I'm in total agreement with J.S. Bach. I did go with another Pletcher horse in second, who you have in third, and that's Old Mountain Lane. And this one is stretching out around 2 turns after coming within the nose as the favorite of defeating a repeat winner. It's a knockout. That was its local debut, 7 furlongs. So this horse goes behind a repeat winner. Jose Lezcano returns. This is a $520,000 son of Warfront.
Yeah, Warfront, he had a really spectacular year, not only in the sales ring last year, but also on the racetrack. And I always love the Warfronts. I threw in number 6, Cold Spice, and first time on the dirt for this son of Tisnow, and out of an AP&D mare, so he should be able to handle the main track for Mike Maker. On to the third race on today's card, and we do have an allowance, one other than 6 furlongs on the main track. And my top selection, I went with number 8, Angel Code, and this is a 4-year-old filly by Old Fashioned. Very impressive, I thought. And Ron, on paper, it looks like she was handily beaten by a filly named More Than a Party. More Than a Party just came back and won the other day here for Eddie Broom. She's a really nice filly, very fast filly. So based on that, also her numbers, I look at the Thoroughgraph sheets, I thought she was going to be the one to beat.
Well, we got our selections here flip-flopped. I went with the 3, Libby's Lucky Charm. This one is turning back today to the 6 furlong distance of this race after posting her second victory in the last 3 races when she held on to defeat what I thought was a solid group of $50,000 optional claimers. That was going 7/8 of a mile. The trainer is Bobby DeBona. He's 24% with horses winning consecutive races. Angel Code, for all the reasons you mentioned, and we both used number 7, Shogun Samurai, making his first start. This horse had a really productive but sort of frustrating campaign in which he hit the board in 4 or 5 races, albeit no victories. So we'll give him a chance maybe to get that victory. That was no victories last year.
On to the 4th race on the card, and we do have another allowance race, and it is a mile and a 16th on the turf course. And my top selection in there, I went with number 6, and that's a break-even analysis for another horse from the Chad Brown barn, and a few stop and starts through the season in 2014, Ron. But when this originally runs, he's consistent.
Yeah, I got him on my ticket break-even analysis. 3 for 3 in the money, as you mentioned, in 2014. He makes that first start since rallying to get beat a couple of lengths. That was in the 1 mile, $75,000 optional claim. It was up at Aqueduct. Chad Brown talking about Eclipse Awards. I think he's got it in the bag tonight. We'll see how that works out. 24% with the 61 to 180-day loyal. Joel Rosario atop this son of a Lemon Drop Kid. But I went with the 12 in here, who you have in second, and that's Talib. And this one is stretching out to a mile today. And the 16th. Returned from that 2-month freshening. I thought he rallied really strongly to come within a half length of winning. That was a $35,000 allowance of going a mile. It looks like a lateral move here. I don't think it's a jump up in competition. Kieran McLaughlin, Julian Leperoux, this is son of Hard Spun.
I think you have to use. I also threw in number 8, Town Extension. Came back off a layoff, ran in that race that you were just talking about from Taglib, and finished a pretty good 4th. He was only beaten. He was beaten less than a couple of lines, so I think I'm going to use him too.
Just one of those full 14-horse fields here that we have at Gulfstream Park. So you have to really hope your horse gets a good trip in these races, and it just looks like we have the logical 2 or 3 that are on top in there. But you never know who's going to jump up and win those type of races.
Yeah, exactly. On to the 5th race on the card today, and that kicks off Sunshine Millions, and it kicks off with the sprint, and that is 6 furlongs on the main track. And Ron, it looks like we're in agreement here, at least with the top 2 horses, and I really see it on paper. Those are the 2. Like number 1, Happy My Way. Number 2, Grand Shores. I did go with Happy My Way. He hasn't won in his last handful of starts, but even if you look at that last race, Ron, in November, he ran a big figure. He ran a very good race. He's speed, and he looks like he's all speed on paper, although Joe Orsino says that he can also rate. So now if this horse can rate, and I don't particularly think he has to in this race, he's going to be really tough. And I think the way he's going to beat Grand Shores is if he gets to jump on him.
And he ran well from the rail last year in this exact race. So, a lot of people concerned that inside post, you never know what's really going to happen. But I just think this horse has that tactical advantage, as you said, to jump up and get the lead. Grand Shore is one of our favorite horses. If things do get dicey on the front end and any kind of pace scenario explodes on the front end, Grand Shore is going to be there at the end. The horse I wanted to ask you about was the 4 Yogi Berra. Now in the Ralph Nix barn, 2 for 2. Maybe this horse jumps up. He's going to get a serious class check today.
You never want to disregard a horse that's done nothing wrong and is perfect at anything. However, I think he's going to have to jump up his game at least a couple of notches to beat the top 2. We're going to take a short break, folks, and we'll come back and have a look at the 6th race on the card that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow 6.
Gulfstream Park is one of Florida's top entertainment destinations, mixing restaurants, clubs, a casino, and international boutique shops with world-class racing. In a lavish, sun-drenched setting with the feel of a Mediterranean village, Gulfstream is a leading year-round entertainment and tourist destination and the home of luxury residences in 2014. The Stronach family, owners of Gulfstream Park, is committed to the sport of thoroughbred racing and the grace, spirit, and generosity of the horse.
The Rainbow Six is back, and it's better than ever. Now with a 20-cent base wager, it will expand the market for the popular wager. And in addition to doubling the base wager, the percentage return to the winners on the days the jackpot isn't hit is increased to 70%, with 30% going to the carryover pool for the next program. Gulfstream Park, first post, 1240 each and every day.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Park, and we're going to have a look at the 6th race on today's card, which is the Florida Sunshine Millions Turf, a mile and a 16th on the turf course. We do have a scratch number 1, St. Pierre, and number 2 startup will be ridden by Leandro Goncalves. Ron, Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six starts in the 6th race. Not an easy task in this first leg. I went with the number 7 in here, Manchurian High. This one's going to cut back to a mile and a 16th. It's had 11 previous races at this distance. 4 wins the 2nd and 3rd. After I thought, a couple of solid performances going a mile and a half. He won the Laurel Cup, and then he comes back right here, and he was 3rd, beating only 1.5 lengths, and that's in the Grade 3 McKnight. Originally, when you look at this horse, you say, yeah, it looks like he's a distance horse, but a proven commodity at this distance, plus the race is stocked with speed, and this one comes from off the pace.
Yeah, and I actually went in a different direction. I went with a horse that you didn't even use.
We talked about this.
Number 6, and that is Bad Debt. This is an 8-year-old gelding by Grand Reward, and this is the 4th consecutive year that he's running in the Sunshine Millions Turf. And Ron, look at that last race. He finished 4th, beaten 3 lengths, and I thought that was a pretty good effort. The 3rd graph number came back pretty good, behind a horse named Mishawish. And Mishawish from the Todd Fletcher barn came back in his next start, won a Grade 2 event here at Gulfstream. So lots to like. And in fact, Mike Trombetta was saying that in that last race, he just got himself into some traffic, into some issues early in the race. So I'm thinking if he runs another good race, I think he's got a good shot.
He was my 4th pick, I have to tell you that. So I went with Manchurian High. Then I used the 9 reporting star. This one is cutting back to a mile and a 16th after opening. You see, just blew, opened a 6-length lead, set the pace in there, got beat a half in the aforementioned 9 furlong. No, this was the Tropical Park Handicap of Grade 3. And Iron Power gets a triple-digit buyer figure in its last race, goes to lead. That's the speed I'm talking about. I mean, Bad Debt. In hindsight, he comes from off the pace too. I went with Manchurian High, but I would not leave Bad Debt off my Rainbow Six ticket.
On to the 7th race on the card, and it's an allowance optional claiming event, and it is with a claiming price of $62,500. We do that kicks off the pick 5. It is a mile 16th on the turf course. We do have a couple of scratches, number 13, and the also eligibles 15 and 16. My top selection, I went with number 10. I see it's a horse that you used, Moon Jazz, and this is a son of See the Stars. See the Stars, not only a tremendous racehorse across the pond in Europe, he's also his couple of his first few crops of offspring have really done really well overseas. So we don't see a whole lot of See the Stars here in the United States. This one's done nothing wrong here in America, at least. His first race here on December 14th, 4-length winner for Kieran McLaughlin. This is his bread and butter, and I know they're high on this horse.
I was torn by putting this horse on top or going with the 8 Sycamore Lane. Will be treated with Lasix today, making his first start since posting back-to-back victories. That was up on the New York turf circuit. Billy Mott is the trainer. This is a son of Artie Schiller, and what I like about this horse, we saw a horse like this last week from the Mott barn run well and working well at Payson Park. Translates that to running well down here. Moon Jazz for all the reasons. I didn't know what to do with the number 4 Pluto Leuven, making his first starts and finishing fourth last March in the Grade 3 Palm Beach and fourth in the Grade 3 Dania Beach back in December of 2013, right before the new year. Trainer Chad Brown, he's pretty good with this type of layoff. I really didn't know what to do, and I just threw him on my ticket because this horse can jump up and beat this level of competition.
Well, let me give you some insight, because I happened to talk last night, or I spoke last night to Pete Bradley. Pete Bradley, I know him very well from the sales scene. He sells a lot of horses. He's actually a part owner in Pluven. They brought him over, first-time gelding as well.
That's
and
right.
he was saying to me, Christina, he's been doing really well since that last start. Since he's been off quite a long time, and he said he's been really training super well. He's going to be one to watch. I think we might even get a bit of a price on him, because I think there are a couple of other horses that we can use in here, Ron, and I'm not really sure how they're going to bet him down. It's 9-2 on the morning line. If I get 9-2 on him, that might be a good bet.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't know exactly what to do with him. I put him on my ticket, but now that I hear this, I think I might move him up a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we got a positive report. We always want to hear that from our peeps out in racing. On to the 8th race on the card, and it kicks off the late pick 4, and it is the Sunshine Millions Distaff, and it is for the ladies, 7 furlongs on the main track. And we do my top selection, competitive race,
yes.
Ron. Really
this one's tough,
right? Because my top selection you don't even have among your picks here. I did go with number 12, and that's Devil's Cave from the Belmont barn. Really, I like this mare. She was previously with Marty Wolfson, in fact, for Alpha Delta Stable, but she really likes Gulfstream Park, and she's hit the board in all 5 of her career starts. Very consistent sort. Ron, when she's at the right distance, she's really proven to be tough, and this was the direction that I went in. But I want to show a video. I just want everybody to take a look at number 2, Wildcat Lily, who showed speed last time, finished a pretty credible second, I thought. Now, it's not almost clear to see. However, her jock that day, Paco Lopez, he lost the whip in the stretch. And I have to be honest.
Right there when he goes back now, you'll see it's gone. You can see it hitting the rail there. So.
Exactly right. So now, did that make a difference between victory and defeat?
Much.
No. Did it maybe make maybe because she had been closer up? I don't know. But that was a pretty good comeback. I didn't give her a whole lot of stock that day.
No, I got to run my ticket for that exact reason. But I went with the number 11, and I'm the only one. I must be goofy in here, because I thought Dame Dorothy is an absolute. I thought was a cinch here. Okay. You know, this one was also was actually scratched out in the next race, which was the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Turf. Easy for me to say. Cutting back to 7 furlongs, is won at this distance after winning the mile in the 16th Grade 3. Turn back the alarm. That was on October 26th. Then following it out with a really good 3rd place finish. That was in the 9 furlong Grade 3 Comley at Aqueduct on November 29th. I kept looking in this race, and you know, besides a horse like Wildcat Lily, which I think you got on the ticket, I thought it was this horse was a standout. But he's my single on my Rainbow Six ticket, but I'm not, totally sold, but I do have her there.
The one horse I'm going to use is number 5, Toasting. Tom Albertrani says when she's right, and she's training like she's right now. So I think that she's going to be one, and she might jump up, and she might be able to get it done if she's on her best day. On to the 9th race on today's card, and it is the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Turf. A mile and a 16th on the grass, and we do have one scratch, Dame Dorothy, who was cross-entered. She was scratched out of the 9th. And my top pick, I went with, I have number 7, and that's a Rock On Baby from the Marty Wolfson barn. Now, Ron, she came back off of a really long layoff, and a year pretty much. And
364.
Yes.
Because I figured it out, because it was only 1 day difference.
Look at that. That's why you're the man. And she ran a very good race that day. That was in the Tiara. And again, she's been off that long. Marty Wolfson did say that she had a problem with her back last year. They gave her plenty of time because she's not a young mare. She's 6 years old, and she's been doing very well since. And I think it's going to be a class test, though. Yeah,
you'll see it. I got her on a ticket. For all the reasons I had it in second. But the horse I like in here, and I was a little surprised at the morning line. I thought this horse would be higher than it is. Waterway Run, and it's number 6, a multiple Grade 3 stakes place daughter of Odge, who runs exceptionally well fresh. What I mean by this, if you look through the past performances, every time this horse comes off a break, runs pretty good. Doesn't win all the time, but runs exceptionally well. Makes her first start since encountering traffic, finishing 7th. Was beaten only 2.5 lengths. That was in the $100,000 race up at Parks to Mrs. Penny. Chad Brown, once again, 24% with this type of freshening. Javier Castellano in the saddle. Lots of things to like for me with the number 6 Waterway Run. Rock on Baby for all the reasons you mentioned. And then I used the number 3 Speed Skater in there. Was grade 3 stakes winner on the turf in Canada, debuting locally for trainer Joan Scott, not known back here. She does a great job up in Tampa Bay. I know during the winter, so I didn't know much about her a couple of years ago, but I started watching, and she does a good job.
I used also E.B. Ryder in there. That's the other Marty Wolfson horse. And here's another one. She ran her last race in November was against the Colts, actually. We were talking about Bad Debt earlier he's running earlier in the card, and she hasn't. Marty gave her a freshening and blinkers off, and I think that she's another one that she can run well because she's been targeting for this race. On to the 10th race on the card. It is the Sunshine's Millions Classic, and it is the 9 furlongs on the main track. And Ron, I'm really excited about this race because we don't have a very big field. However, it's pretty deep in terms of the horses that are running. I decided to go in a different direction. I decided to go with a number 4, and that is Transparent. And this is a 5-year-old son of Bernardini, the mare Habibu, nice mare, and hasn't raced since last November, which really he didn't show up at all that day. Really sparkling work back on January 10th, and a minute flat for Kieran. Again, coming back off the layoff, I have no problem. This horse does have class. I really like him, and I think he'll be in a stalking position, which might serve him with a little bit of a speed in here, although I see that you used one horse that both of us used, number 2, East Hall. And Ron, we can take a look at that last race where he finished ahead of a horse named Wildcat Red, who's on top of your ticket.
Yeah, and this was a good race here, and this was the preview to this race. And East Hall, this is when it runs here, wins its 2nd consecutive stake. So in great form right now. But Wildcat Red, the reason I had it on the top, you see him getting the lead now and just going away. Really nice race from him last time out. The reason I used Wildcat Red, it's the old horse for course angle. This horse, 8 races we're talking about. Well, there you see East Hall. Total respect for him having 2nd on my ticket. Wildcat Red, 8 races on this track, 5 wins, 3 seconds, which includes victories in the Grade 3 Hutchison, the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth, narrow defeat in the Grade 1 Best Salute Florida Derby, returns to the surface after, as we saw, finishing 2nd in that race to East Hall. So, going to hang my hat on the horse for course angle here, East Hall. But I want to mention one horse in here and that is the number 6, who I have a 3rd, Catholic Cowboy. You look at this race. There's only one horse in this race that has won at 9 furlongs twice, and that is the number 6 Catholic Cowboy.
That's your angle, right?
That's my angle right there. A horse in a race that's done something that no one else has done, and done it twice, and that's a Catholic Cowboy winning the Claiming Crown Jewel on opening day. So maybe this horse, I don't know if it can win, but it's got to be on your ticket.
Well, 2 things. You did mention Wildcat Red, a horse for course. Joel Rosario was aboard for his latest work, and he really liked what he saw. It was a very, very strong gallop out for the son of the Wildcat, and he's going to be showing speed. Jose Garofalo said he's going to be going to the front. So several things to like, and also East Hall. He's another horse, Ron. He's just been improving for Bill Kaplan, and Bill Kaplan was saying that he's probably going to be better at a classic distance of 1.25 miles even as he goes further, which is why I didn't put him on top. But Catholic Cowboy, first time gelding last time, and he came through with a win, and Nick Zito's been saying he's been training like a different horse, so that might be it. We know my mother, Lily's going to be betting on him.
There's no doubt about that.
On to the 11th and final race on the afternoon, and it is a maiden special weight, 1 1/8 miles on the turf course. We do have the scratches of the also eligibles 15 and 16, and my top selection, I went with a horse that you used, and that's number 10, Great Wizard. This is a colt by Kitten's Joy. The mare is out of Cozine, so talk about what a turfy pedigree from the barn of Chad Brown. We haven't seen this colt since last September. A good second place effort behind a horse, Dubai Sky, a nice horse that came back and won in a subsequent start. But I see that you went with number 8, and that's Big Ben.
Big Ben is making his 3-year-old debut. The first start since vying for the lead and finishing second. It was his 9-furlong career debut. It was on the Churchill Downs turf course. Dale Romans, Corey Lannery named on this proven commodity at 1 mile and 8. Did not win, but can handle his distance. And this race being 1 mile and 1/8. And we commented yesterday that Dale Romans' horses have been running very well at this meet.
They sure have. And I also threw in number 4, Let Us Pray. This is a 3-year colt by Pulpit out of Winter Garden, and it's for Todd Fletcher. And I think this one I would throw into the mix as well. And that's it for today's card. And Ron, we do have not only the Sunshine Millions, we have the Eclipse Awards here later on tonight. That's going to be exciting. We also have an autograph session here, 1:30 to 2:30, and there will be a $10 minimum donation. Proceeds will go to Old Friends and Gulfstream Thoroughbred Aftercare, as well as the permanently disabled Jockeys Fund. And it's going to be Rosie Napravnik, Tom Durkin, who recently retired, a tremendous race caller, and also Michael Blowen, who is, in fact, he's from Old Friends, and just such a great cause.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good cause, so dig down deep and give whatever you can give for that. And don't forget, we got the Rainbow Six a little later on with a $100,000 guarantee. We got the $50,000 guarantee in the Pick 5, and, of course, the late Pick 4, $100,000 guarantee. Clips Awards tonight. Gulfstream Park, it's the best.
Spectacular day on tap, so folks, stick around. We've got a great one in store.